Hey everybody, it's Wayne D. Welcome to the website WayneD.com. And we're here looking at my favorite player, Tiger Woods. Got some really nice shots here at the Memorial 2018 a few weeks ago. Got a slow-mo, and we've got one set up with the camera. They use the tracer on, so the camera has to be, I'm guessing, the camera has to be stable to use that thing, which is great for me because I can actually, if the camera's positioned well, which is pretty good here, it's a little high but it's perfect, right behind the hands, I can draw some lines and we can really look at Tiger's swing, which I think is the best it's been since probably 2006, when his hands started to drop behind him for some reason. But now they're not doing that anymore. So I've been all over that for years, hoping that Tiger would revert back to his older swing, at least in transition, where his hands would come more outward rather than pulling downward, where the right arm would pull behind him, and he'd close this space up right away, and he just looked all jammed up to me. So I think Sean Foley would have liked to have addressed that. He never had him when he was healthy, so I don't think they could. But I think now that if you watch what's going on up here, this is pure, where the pelvic rotation is catching the upper body and pulling the left arm in the direction of the shoulders, which is outward. So the hands are going to come out. That's a passive left arm. Otherwise, the left arm would be pulling independently down the chest. So that arm is so free now. I think this is it. He's going to be winning some stuff. At least if he can get his putter back, I think he can really start to win, because this is as good as it gets. One thing that's real interesting here is he likes the setup with his hands a little bit low, and he's sort of jimmied with that off and on in his career. Seems to have settled in on this for now, but you see a neutral takeaway. He's not really rolling the face open, but it's gradually the toe is coming up, so when it's parallel to the ground, it's probably a little more up than his spine, or pretty close to it, but not quite toe up. But the key is from right about there, just follow the face in this area right here. Grab a golf club, and then you take the face from there to there and see how you do it. You do that by rotating your wrists and lower forearms. Now Tiger does something that I don't normally teach, because I don't think normal people can really do it very well, and that is he is keeping his right arm right dead in front of him with space. So now he's going to take that arm, which I would call a pinched arm, and just turn it and not goof around with it and send it behind him like most people do. But rather, he's just going to get back in front of it. So he's got a lot of good stuff going on. Watch this one over here. He's going to deepen. He always has lowered significantly in the backswing by adding depth in the hip flexors. Check that out. Now he's going to tilt the pelvis down as he drives forward. We know from plenty of videos that Tiger's got an average 3 to 5 inches of lateral movement by the time he gets to about right here in his swing. Now look how deep those hips are. His head's still nicely out over the ball, and once you get into the full follow through, it doesn't matter if your hips stay in the box anymore. In fact, if you're trying to take stress off, you can undo some of the right side bend and sort of stand up. So he'll continue to supinate that left forearm pretty much throughout the follow through, which kind of pulls the right arm across and makes the finish flatter. I'm sure he doesn't like that finish, but I like everything about this swing. Really trying to teach the better players about the ability to deepen the hips and anteriorly tilt the pelvis as part of that transition movement. He's doing it like mint. So as you come down, you can see the face when it rotates open. That is what's going to point that club to the left. It's that forearm rotation. Now the great pivot movement, the outward hand movement. Everything gets way out in front of him. Wheels around because he's got great hip rotation. You can see the left knee would be disappearing right about now with this camera angle. And then you can see the constant rate of face rotation coming through, nicely lined up with the shaft. Very good. Let's check out a couple more. Here's a real nice driver swing. So if you watch that movement, that's pretty obvious that the hands are moving out this way. And again, to me, that's more like a baseball swing or a sidearm throw in the first move down. Maybe not some of the other mechanics, but certainly what's happening here is instead of pulling the right arm down and lowering the grip is coming out in front of him. It's not over the top because the shaft is, of course, leaning back, but it's in between his arms. It's not stuck anymore. His right arm's got room. His legs are encouraged, which is a big deal. His legs are encouraged to rotate because if you want the hands to go this way, then you want the legs to go the other way, right? And as far as lowering goes, you can just see it. It's always the same with Tiger. No matter what anybody says, he lowers significantly in the backswing, and he lowers significantly again until about left arm parallel, at which point it'll stabilize and start to come upward. And you see the right leg straighten up into the left. His footwork is way better now. Look at that, left foot is just doing what it's supposed to. It's not jumping all over the place. Very quiet legs, but freedom in the hips. That's nice. You don't really have to lift the left heel up to have freedom in hips if you're built like Tiger. Although if you're not, I would think the left heel would want to come up a little bit. This is just ridiculously good. So seriously, I don't get. To me, it'll be weird if he doesn't win. It'll have to be, because it looks like his putting and short game have come back pretty nicely too. So once he puts it together, I don't think anybody's going to beat the guy. I think he's still better. I always like these oddball angles. They're always fun. Get a good idea. Watch that hip movement. You just watch this. If you ever wanted to figure out how to move your lower body. Just watch this guy. Nobody better. Alright, so that's my man Tiger. I think he's got the best swing on the planet, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got back to #1.